We are here with James Maida, who is the founder and CEO of GLI, Gaming Laboratories International. Uh, and as always, James, one of our favorite interviews of the year, because one, you're a Jersey guy. I don't know whether it's Mets or Phillies. I've never asked you that question.
I think it's Mets.
Oh, sorry to hear about that.
Yeah,
Year.
I know.
But I'm Phillies, so I'm doing okay.
You're doing good. You do very well.
And also because GLI has a special perspective on the gaming industry. You get to see almost everything that happens in the gaming industry, and you get to see it first. And one of the uh, big trends that we've talked about, I mean, 2 years ago, nobody wanted to talk about it. This year, that's all they want to talk about, is artificial intelligence. Uh, Tell us a little bit from your perspective, James, how artificial intelligence is going to be deployed in the gaming industry.
So first of all, I think we everybody's really excited about AI and in some ways overly excited. I guess there was an MIT study that indicated that 95% of all of the apps or things that utilize AI really don't work as intended, or the ROI isn't there, but 5% really do work. And we're in the very early innings of AI. But I think AI is a tool. It's not a human replacement. And I think AI is going to be used to, crunch a whole lot of complex data, increase and improve the customer journey as an experience of a customer. Uh, uh, but we also need to be careful, and I know the industry's been real thoughtful about whether or how do we use AI to but keep the customer data and keep everything secure, because we're going to be gathering a lot of information and making a lot of decisions based on AI. The only thing I would say as we start developing in this world of AI, there's a term that everybody uses called hallucinations. That's where you get an answer, but it's actually not the right answer, and people may rely on it. Frank, if I ran your name, Frank Fantini, through, Chat GPT and see, who is Frank Fantini, um, a lot of it would be accurate, but a lot of it would not be accurate. And I wouldn't want to make decisions on who Frank Fantini is based on what I get out of Chat GPT. So we have to be careful about the hallucinations. We have to use it as a tool, and we have to understanding that the tool is still developing.
It's developing fast.
It is. And there are some really good areas you could use it in. For instance, spotting problem gambling, right? So that would be a good use for it. Sometimes it's going to get it wrong and it's going to label somebody a problem gambler that isn't. AI might also be used to figure out if people are cheating or if people are making decisions that are sort of illogical. Another good way it could be used is stop professional sports people from betting on their own games or betting on games at all. But I think it also could be used in a way that's not so healthy. What happens if we use AI to target people that have a gambling problem or market to people who we should be marketing to? So, like every other tool, everything we've ever done in the gaming industry, every new tool, there are great uses for it, and there's also not so great uses for it. And we have to make sure we police those that are not using it for positive effects, but certainly encourage the positive of AI.
What is GLI doing in regard to AI and all of these possibilities that you've mentioned?
Yeah, we are not replacing humans with AI. We're not going to do that. But what we are doing is speeding up things, making things faster, better, more efficient. So, onboarding customers, making sure the client journey is what it needs to be, understanding, when we get feedback from customers and clients. We have 1,600 clients around the world that 1,700 of our employees work on a daily basis. No one person can really understand what's happening with all of our collective customers and people that we service. But AI will help us be able to take snippets of conversations or our notes and allow us to make sure where we're doing things great, how do we reproduce that for everybody else, and where we need improvement, we'll be doing that. So we're also using AI for, estimating how long things will take, um, or other types of things to help speed our customers' journey through our process, that we reduce the friction, and so that we can perform quicker and get products to market that much quicker for the suppliers who need it.
GLI has grown a lot over the years from the days when it was probably looked at by many people as simply a testing machine on slot machines. There's so many other areas. Tell us a little bit, give us a little picture of GLI today, what the services that you provide.
So GLI today is much different than way different than the GLI of the 1980s and the 1990s and 2000s. Today, more than half of our work is in the digital space. So that's iGaming, sports book, all those things that people are playing on the internet. The other half of our business continues to be land-based and slot machines and progressives and systems. Um, but we're into many more things now. Player account testing, ISS auditing, PCI testing and auditing, um, understanding data breaches and making sure our customers don't have that. Um, Consulting nearly 700 plus regulators around the world and putting on GLI University. We believe that the best regulators are the most educated regulators, and we do a tremendous amount of that. This past year, for instance, we just opened um, the market in Brazil. Nobody for 20 years we thought it was coming, and finally in 2024 at the end it came. And so we have to make sure we have Portuguese speaking people. We have to make sure that we can deliver those approvals on time, on budget, and the highest quality. So it now takes a village. We have over 100 and plus people in our Japan office testing pachinko and pachi slot. We're the only international testing lab that does that. So but there's a lot that has not changed. Quality is still our number one metric. We could go faster and do more and get things out across the line. But what's really important is that we have the highest quality in the industry, and we continue to do that. So some things never changed. Some things get more complex, and we just have to keep adding people.
The when you talk about AI, you're talking about the future. When we talk about all these new services that you've added, we're talking about the future. If you could get your crystal ball out, what is the gaming industry going to look like 5 or 10 years from now?
I think in 5 or 10 years, I think there's going to be a lot of development in the payment processing area, right? Taking crypto, taking other forms of funds. I think in 5 or 10 years, people won't be able to walk into even a land-based casino and be anonymous. We're starting to see markets around the world that are going to require player carded people to play, to stop problem gambling, to stop anti-money laundering, or to encourage, you know, stop people from laundering money. So I think as we move forward in this industry, we're going to have the anonymity is going to probably fall away, but we're going to allow people to use more and different payment methods that we see today. I think cybersecurity is still undervalued by the gaming industry. It is the biggest thing that people need to work on to make sure they don't lose customer data. As people become anamatized, and they're now known, we're going to be having lots of player data, and we have to make sure that every operator, every supplier, every regulator that's doing backgrounds must keep this data as protected as possible, because that's the way the world is going. And the number of hacks and the number of phishing attempts that our customers and clients, and even here at GLI, that we get on a single day is multiples of what it was just 2 or 3 or 4 years ago.
In addition to the industry changing, as we've discussed, GLI has changed. And GLI has been around for a long time now. What is the future of the company? Is it someday is a company that you sell someday? Is it a company that goes public someday, or is the present course the one that it's going to proceed for the foreseeable future?
As you know, Frank, after 37 years of ownership, Paul Magno and I are the two shareholders. We announced earlier this year, it was announced on the internet, that uh, we are bringing in an investor, CVC Partners out of Europe, and they will be taking a majority stake in GLI once we um, get through the regulatory phase. Um, and so we're really excited about that. The reason why we chose to do that is I'm 62 years old now, and how we're thinking a lot about the next 37 years. You know, an engineer who joins the firm today, right out of college, 22 years old, how do we make sure that there's a job for that person when they become 60? Um, and I would be something like 99. So it's important for GLI to be institutionalized to make sure there is no risk to the industry, that GLI will continue to thrive um, through multiple CEOs over the next 37 years and whatever that is. So we really took a 1 year process, and we're really happy with that, with the fact that we're bringing on an institutional investor, the largest private equity firm in Europe, who is making the investment in GLI, and we're excited about it.
Great. Okay, G2E is coming up shortly. What should folks look for at your booth this year?
You know, I should say, um, really, we'll have the team there from our cybersecurity specialists, our gaming people, that online and land-based and sportsbook people, uh, really very much the same. I should say, even though we are getting an investor, James Maida is not leaving the company. I'm staying on to remain as the CEO. And so we're trying to really say to people, GLI is that steady Eddie thing that you can count on. And I think our stand will very much project that. And you know, we're just looking forwards. I think it's been almost 30 years we've been doing these G2Es, and even before that when it was World Gaming Congress. Um, and we're just there to really understand what's coming, meet with all the suppliers, have them come meet with us. And we're also talking to a lot of startup companies. People are just brand new in the industry. I've got an idea. Come by the GLI stand, tell us what you're doing, and we'll figure out how to get you right in the testing process with really very little friction.
Do you see a lot of startups in the industry now?
We see a tremendous amount. I was in Europe just the other week. I was in Europe 2 weeks in a row, in fact, at trade shows, and so many startups, especially in the Asia Pacific Rim and also in Europe. People are coming up with just great ideas, you know, small studios, small companies just focused on technology. They get something, they stand something up pretty quickly. It's usually fantastic. And then what do? One of the larger companies that you all know, Frank, will look at that and say, you know what, I'd like to get a piece of that. M&A is alive and well in the gaming industry, and anybody with a great idea will find themselves a target of an investor somewhere on the planet, because the larger companies can move quickly, but maybe aren't as such nimble as the smaller supplier development. So I'm very excited whenever I go overseas and I get to see just stands and stands of smaller companies, and most of them, they work with us already, but we're always out there trying to find that odd company that just started and is looking for a test lab.
Okay. Well, it's a great overview, James, as usual. Uh, Anything else before we sign off you would like folks to know about
No,
GLI?
Frank, love to see you today. I just also want to convey my condolences to Ernie Stevens and his family, who passed away untimely a few days before this interview that we're taking. Ernie was a stalwart in Indian gaming, and so many people around him loved him and supported him, and I was one. And I know that we're thinking of Ernie and his family today as we're videoing this interview.
Very well said. Thank you, James.
Thank you so much, Frank.